welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews.
And if you like listening to audiobooks, click the link in the description for a free 30-day trial with Audible. And while you're online, if you're shopping, if you click the Rakuten link in the description, you get a $10 credit.
Yep. Let's get to Married at First Sight.
Oh, I gotta resist the urge to completely go in.
Honeymoon is coming to an end.
Yes, it is, and
But the fireworks are still going.
And yeah, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Day 4 of the honeymoon.
So we start with Clara and Ryan. They're sitting down eating breakfast, and they talk about again how routine Ryan is. He eats the same thing for breakfast every day. Clara says my dad does the same thing. But Ryan's breakfast every day is a fruit smoothie and a Kind bar.
And a Kind bar. And I had to look up what a Kind bar was. Didn't I know?
I don't know why.
I don't know neither why.
Why you didn't know what a Kind bar was?
I don't know. I didn't know what a Kind bar was. Sorry.
And so Clara says, again, she's not a real big breakfast eater.
Nah.
But they're sitting there eating breakfast together. He talked about, like, what's her personality, what was she into, whatever. And she talked about how she was in show choir in school. She was in show choir in school. And so she lived for the performance. Like, we opened this up talking about how dramatic and entertaining she liked to be.
Yeah.
But we find out it wasn't her. But she said she lived for performance. She soloed every day. And she wanted to be the center of attention.
And I think she still wants to be the center of attention.
Yes.
And she still does. I think the way, if you watch the show, if you've seen it, Claire likes to be the center of attention. But she knows how to, she's learning how to reel it in. And
yes.
I think Ryan's going to help her reel it in and not always be the center of attention. And she has a little bit of street smarts. Mm-hmm. We'll see that a little bit later. She has a little bit of street smarts and she knows when to back off. Yeah.
And surprisingly, Ryan shares that he was a class clown in high school.
Yeah.
He was the life of the party senior year.
He was the man.
I guess he probably was at that point in high school. It's like, I've already got all my credits. I got time to play around.
Yeah, but when you're like the only black kid in your school and you get the class clown award, I don't know how to feel about that. I'm just saying. You got to be funny to get everybody to like you, but nah, he seemed like he was a fun-loving guy.
Yeah, they talked about what kind of guys she dated. She said, I pretty much dated guys that didn't like me as much as I liked them. Mm-hmm. And she laughed. But she said she attracted a lot of frat boys in college. And then when she started flying, being a flight attendant, she got like everything across the board, which she shared before. Yeah. She said she get the frat boys, she get the drunk old men, she get everything as a flight attendant.
You talk about her date naps and going on her terrible first dates that she had. So
multiple bad first dates.
Multiple bad first dates. So we've heard some of those experiences that she had prior in some of the previous episodes.
Mm-hmm. But overall, the two of them, they feel like they're very well matched.
Yeah.
Except that then she goes into the fact that I fall in love all the time. Oh, I always fall in love.
Here we go.
I just fall real easy, real hard, you know. And he says, well, you know, I've never been in love. She's like, uh-oh.
But he prefaced that with saying, look, I take that word to mean a lot. That means when I say that word or that word in my family when raised up, that the L word meant, you know, it was not just a word. It was a serious type verb. And so he prefaced that with saying, look, I've been with a lot of relationships. I've been with people a long time, but I have not used that word. Which, to me, if he decides to use this word in this relationship or in this marriage, she realizes that she has to know it is serious because he never used it.
But also, it begs the question, like, do you know what love is? Have you been in love and you just weren't bold enough to say it? Like, I can't believe, like, you have never, like, you've been in serious relationships over some years and you never feel like you've been in love. You've never told somebody you love them.
Maybe his heart wasn't in. I can understand his heart wasn't into it. You've been in relationships where you never told the person that you love them. And I've been in relationships where I've never told the person I love them.
Long term
relationship. Well, I never told you. I mean, it probably was high school and maybe early college, but I've been in a relationship where I've never told the person, look, I love you. So I can understand that. Now, when we met you, I really, I loved you from day one, but you're my day one. But but at the same time, there were.
Here we go with the mess again.
It's not the mess. It's not the mess. But I can understand that though. When you haven't been in that relationship and you don't feel that, why just throw the word out there? He doesn't feel it. He didn't feel it. He liked the person. He was really in tune with that person, but he didn't love them.
You know what? And this is a whole nother discussion. But I think people they mix up loving somebody with being in love with them.
Okay, I get that.
See what I'm saying? I can't believe at this point you haven't loved anybody, meaning had care, concern about this person, like want the best for them. Would feel weird without them in your life. You know what I'm saying? At this point, you have loved somebody. You have. Meaning, like you said, I love my cousins. I don't talk to my cousins all the time. I may not know all the ins and outs about them, but I love them. They're my family. I have care and concern for them. I wouldn't want anything to happen to them. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe we're reading too much into it. Maybe he loved them, but he just never verbalized it.
No, but he said I've never been in love.
Okay. Yeah. Hey.
And so that says to me that you're equating in love with saying the words I love you.
I love you.
I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that gave her pause. I'm not mad at him for putting special. I don't get me wrong. It's nothing wrong with making that word special and not throwing it around loosely. I agree with that, but I think he's overthinking. He's putting too much into it. But anyway, so that gave her pause. It was like, I don't know if this gonna work. But anyway, do we want to keep going with Clara and Ryan?
Keep going with them. Say with a couple.
Okay. So it's hard to talk about the rest of them without getting to the other stuff.
Let's get into the meat.
Okay. So after that we see the girls meet at the bar to make cocktails together, and then the guys go for a craps lesson. And so they're making cocktails, and I think that Virginia already had a cocktail before she came.
I'm sure she did.
Because she's stirring hers up and she spills hers.
Yeah.
But later she has another one. But anyway, so Clara makes the comment to the side, she feels like almost everyone is having a good time while they're in Las Vegas except Paige.
Yeah.
And she says it's shocking but not surprising that Chris is acting, or this has happened with Chris, the baby mama thing. And I'm like, you don't know this man that well to be saying that.
But she's talking based off the vibes. And again, you don't know him based off the vibe that he's given. It seems as if he's an arrogant, prick, or he's an arrogant guy that could have. He's giving that vibe to her. Now, should you prejudge? No.
Or maybe it's not that, because we find later that, Paige does talk to the girls. So maybe when she says it's shocking but not surprising, Paige may have shared with them all these sex conversations and questions that he's already asked. And so maybe she's not surprised that he was laying like a rug. But shocked. They didn't strap up.
Hey. But we see in this episode is a lot of judging going on.
Yeah,
it's a whole bunch. But, the guys out there learning how to crap. The craps, all of them sitting there, it look like they're having a good time. They look like they're having good conversation. They're enjoying each other. I like what the show does now, make them get together to have some kind of interaction between them. Sometimes it's good, and as we see later on, sometimes it's bad.
So on both sides, we see them talking about their relationships. The females say they want to do a temperature check, and Brianna says, like, I'm feeling him, I'm feeling it, our personalities match. But she does see some things like where he's unstructured.
Yeah.
She notices that with him. And so Vincent says, same thing, good, perfect vibes going on.
But he sees some bossiness.
But I see the bossiness, there might be an issue.
It may be an issue.
So they both say everything's going good, but I do see this.
Yeah.
Then we see Haley. Well, no, it's Virginia. We see Virginia say she's noticed a few issues in their relation. Like, everything's going good, but I did notice that him being like super conservative.
Southern conservative.
Yes. Our different paths and pasts. That I'm younger and I'm semi-promiscuous.
And she drank a lot.
Yeah, and then how he has an issue with the guy friends. And we see a scene where she actually talked to Clara after he said, you know, the guy friend thing, you know, guys always, you know, if you have male friends, they either want to hit it or they want to hit it.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a male friend.
Male friend.
There was always something there. And so Clara gives Virginia really good advice about, she talks to her about compromising and how we know this might be what you're used to, but you're going to have to make him try to feel comfortable till he gets to the point where he's okay with your male friends and discuss the whole situation.
And the problem with Virginia is this is my issue with Virginia. She doesn't want to change.
We find that later.
She doesn't want to change. You're married now. There's some things that change. Not that he's trying to take away from things, but there's some things that have to change. And so she's not willing to give up some things to be a wife and to be the wife of Eric. You know what I'm saying? So she has to learn how to compromise. And I think Clara gave us some good advice on that, how to compromise, how to deal with it. Introduce him slowly to your friends so he can get to know them so he doesn't feel a threat.
Right. See,
sometimes he's basing it off of what he's his past. He doesn't know her friends, so he's basing it off of what he know. So if he gets around her friends and realize her buddies are not that type of way, then the threat is lessened in his mind.
Right.
You know? Right.
On the flip side, we see Eric talking about, he was really rambling.
He was drunk.
He was. He was just rambling. It's unreal. It's so unreal. Like, I can't believe since the beginning, I just don't have any real words. I'm just, it's like great.
Like they've not only been drinking, like he been a little smoking a little.
Something. I mean, he is way too tipsy. And Chris says that too, man. You are you tipsy? Vincent says he's chocolate wasted.
He's chocolate wasted.
He's chocolate wasted.
He was drinking like she was.
But overall, Eric says, I think he's so drunk he's saying there's no issues. He knows there's an issue.
He knows he has problems. Because we find him later on when they both are kind of drunk. Talk about the issues. Don't talk about your issues while you're drunk. Anyway.
And so Jacob shares that he feels like in the whole group of guys, as he's hearing them talk, he said, I really feel like it's too early to be saying how perfect stuff is. We're only 4 days in.
4 days in.
You know, anything can happen. Jacob said his biggest challenge dealing with Haley is the fact that she's got a very big friend group. And they talk and FaceTime and hang out all the time. And so trying to figure out how he fits into her life and to get her maybe not to invest as much time in her friends or just invest time into him. How's she going to have time to invest in him and spend with him when you're so wrapped up in your friend group? Because she says throughout this episode, I've been single for 7 years.
Yeah.
She's trying to get adapted. And I don't know. If you go into Married at First Sight with that mindset, you're going to have an issue.
She's got an issue.
You're going to have an issue.
For somebody who doesn't know how to separate. You're on your honeymoon with your husband. Sorry, my friend circle, I don't think we talk to anybody on our honeymoon. You know what I'm saying? Outside of saying, you know what, we made it safely.
I mean, besides the fact that, you know, we were out of the country and this was years ago, almost 20 years ago, and cell phone signals and stuff like that wasn't the best.
But even on our honeymoon, I don't think I would have been interacting with my boys back home. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That's what I'm saying. She interacting with her friend circle, and for him to know that is like, dog, what are you doing? You see what I'm saying? It's supposed to be about us. We're supposed to be learning, and we'll see later why that to me is important. They're not learning about each other. They're not having a conversation about each other, not communicating, and she's still dealing with friends back home. That to me is a problem because this is your honeymoon period. This is where you're supposed to get to know each other, have conversation, find out what we like. You know, you talk about money, talk about family, talk about issues, talk about problems. You know, rub my back, you rub her back. You know, just those type of things where this is supposed to be your bonding period where you don't have the outside distractions. When you go back home, you have the distractions. And she hasn't been able to separate that, and that's a big issue in their relationship.
Yeah. So what Haley talks about is she's still trying to get adjusted to being around somebody 24/7, which she hasn't been in a long time.
But that's a bunch of, I think, excuses. You're around different.
Right.
You're around different people. You're around friends. This is somebody you don't know, yes, but this is somebody that you signed up for this. Again, we say this every season. You signed up for this. Have you not watched the show? You're signed up for this. This is what it is about. This is what you're dealing with. You're going to be around somebody 24/7. Again, this is your honeymoon. You're supposed to take this 24/7 and learn him. So when you get back home, because she's a flight attendant, am I right? No, she's no, she's not. She's not. So she at her job, you'll be able to maneuver and do your own thing, right? Claire's the flight attendant, so you'll be able to do different things. So you won't be around him 24/7. So now it opens up because you have built that relationship up.
And I think it's just, I don't know, just that she's like that is weird, especially considering, like, on Jacob's side, he says I'm pretty much kind of hermit-like.
Yeah.
And I'm used to, like, he's used to being by himself, too. And the fact that he came into this knowing I'm going to be inserting somebody in my life is going to be an adjustment. You know, I just feel like when you come into Married at First Sight, why are you going into it with, you know, with that in your mind? You know, you stuck in that, like, gotta get used to being around somebody. You're not ready to be married at first sight, then.
You're not, because
you're not ready to be married at first sight.
Married at first sight. You're not ready to be married, period. Because
that too. And I was about to say that.
Yeah, because you bringing other people into your life changes. It's not gonna be the same way when you get married.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
But anyway, Clara talks about how good she and Ryan are. She says, if I put everything I wanted in a man in the machine and a perfect guy popped out, Ryan would pop out.
Yeah.
They have a lot in common. They see eye to eye on like everything. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's so good that she's waiting for something to drop. She's waiting for the bottom to fall out. It's like, what's gonna happen? It's too nice right now. What's gonna happen?
Yeah. And
that she shares with them her conversation with Ryan, that he's never said the L word, and that it was concerning for her. And they were like, they were like, okay, yeah. On the flip side, Ryan says everything's going well. They're talking through the fact that she's very outspoken,
yeah,
and he's more reserved. So just kind of balancing that, they're trying to figure out how to balance that out. Then as the conversation goes forward, they're both kind of talking. I really feel like the producers prompt this, because they're like having the same conversation. The guys and the girls. But Chris asks about intimacy. How's that with everybody? What's going on? And so Ryan says, yeah, we've been hanging out.
We're hanging out, but we're not going to talk. He's not going to talk about it.
Yeah. He's not going to talk about it. Clara says, on the flip side, they're keeping their sex life private, but they do have a physical relationship, and it's good.
Yeah. Which translation, we did it.
Yeah.
Translation, we done it.
Yeah. So, here comes his being reserved. Mm-hmm. He's not going to put it out there. He's not going to tell nobody. That's in him and Clara have an agreement that that's how they're going to roll.
I respect
that. Jacob says, he's good. It's natural and everything, and he'll leave her to talk about the details.
Yeah.
Feel like translation there. They've done it too. And so Haley says they're good. They're hanging out. It's just super fun. And she says on the side, one night they've been drinking a lot, and she was like, hey, this is my husband. We're married. Might as well. Why not? So translation again. They did it. They did it too. They did the do. And so then Paige in contrast, she shares that with the girls, it's been a lot that she's been going through. It's a lot.
Is it? To
deal with. A lot of people would have dipped out when they found out the first day.
Claire said it. She thought it was gone.
Yeah, she said, you better than me.
Yeah, you better than me.
She said, you're a better woman than me. But Paige says, I'm just kind of waiting for a turnaround, or waiting for it to turn around. I don't want to throw in the towel just yet. That's not the kind of person I am. I realize that I want to honor my vows. Even though it's Married at First Sight, we are married. And she went into it really with a marriage. This is serious. And so she's taking her vows serious. And she thinks he does too. He's taking his vows serious.
Yeah.
And she's going to try to stick in there and try to, figure it out or whatever. And so Virginia says, well, how's it going to be dealing with a baby mama girl. Anyway,
She
baby mama and you being a stepmom, and that's a lot. And she says she's concerned for Paige. Understandably, I am too.
Understandably, but again, she goes into a different realm. I mean, her immaturity shows here, and because of who she is, she's 26 years old. Her immaturity and plus alcohol plays a role. She says a lot of things that I don't know how it's going to be a baby mama. I don't know how it is going to be a stepmom. I'm on my honeymoon. We're not even there yet. I can tell you my mind, but I don't know how it's actually going to be because I don't even know the girl yet. I don't even know if she wants me to be involved. I don't even know if Chris wants me to be involved. We haven't had that discussion. We haven't had that conversation. So now you have Clara, you have Virginia who's fishing for information, and you know, Paige is like, I don't really understand. I can't even grasp this yet. I've been married 4 days, and you're talking about stepmom, you're talking about raising somebody else's kids, dealing with baby mama drama. Not even baby mama, but I didn't grasp
that right there. This is the problem that I had with it. The fact that she used the term baby mama.
Yeah.
Baby mama has a negative connotation. She could have said his child's mother, the girl that's pregnant. She ain't no baby mama yet.
No.
Baby mama, we not there. I just didn't like the way she called it that.
Yeah.
How you gonna deal with his baby mama? No. Y'all know what a baby mama is. That's a bad connotation. You just, why pick those words? But anyway, again, Claire's like, you know, you're a better woman than me. You built for it. I absolutely is not. They say later, you know, all the rest of us definitely would be out. Chris, you got a good one right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the guys asked Chris, you know, what's going on. He said, I've just had to reassure Paige that she's number one. I am still fully invested in a marriage. You know, I'm trying to stick in there. I know it's a hard situation, and, you know, I've dealt her a rough hand, but we're trying to work it out. We're trying to work it out.
Eventually we find out he's talking out of both sides of his neck.
Yeah. So Eric asks, is Paige okay? And then he goes into, all right, we go from Virginia talking about the baby mama stuff to then Eric going to be telling homie, you know you have to man up. You have to man up.
And Chris is like,
and make sure you're there for her.
Chris is like, what you mean I'm not manning up, dog? What you mean?
What do you mean by man up?
Again, I'm not even home yet.
We are 6 weeks. She is 6 weeks pregnant. I just found out. What kind of manning up are you expecting me to do? I just got married at first sight. I'm on my honeymoon. This is not normal real life yet. We have not even had to go to actually confront the real. What are you talking about? Manning up. He said, I manned up. I told her. He said, now mind you, he was very resistant to telling her. But he did tell her. He said, I manned up when I told her because I didn't have to tell her.
But any man will be resistant to tell you. You're telling your new wife, you know what, by the way, I got my ex-fiance is pregnant. Any man would have reservations or kind of in his mind to tell his wife that. Let's be honest, it's a news that you don't want to share. So reservation is going to be there. So I don't expect the dudes, oh, by the way, I got my baby. No, you're going to have reservation because you don't know how that person is going to respond. Because if you cared about her and you care about this marriage, you're going to be like, dang, my marriage is going to get ready to blow up before we even started. So there's a hesitation in there. So I understand that. Now, when we get to Eric talking about man up, dog, I don't even have this baby yet. First of all, I believe that is mine, okay? Me and this girl have probably had some conversations. I'm not even home yet. So how do you know me? You don't know if I'm not going to man up. This is my first child. I don't have any other kids out there. So you telling me to man up? What do you mean by man up? Do you mean, you know, take care of my kids? What are you trying to say? I'm not going to take care of my kids? See,
or I'm not going to take care of my wife.
I'm not going to take care of my wife.
Or I'm going to screw Paige over. Bottom line, you don't know me. You don't know me like that.
You don't know me like that to tell me to man up.
You might see me in the streets, but homie, you don't know me.
You don't know me. So you tell you what?
You don't know me.
What are you telling me? So what he should have said was, you know what, Chris, I believe that you're going to do the right thing.
Or not even, I guess not man up, but you know, are you ask like this? Are you you prepared to step up? You know what it's going to consist of. Do step up and still in your
Chris,
marriage?
have you thought about how you're going to try to handle this both ways?
Yeah.
Anything could have been said, but when you said man up, it's implying that I'm not doing my job as a man.
Or that I'm not going to.
That I'm not going to do my thing.
Yes.
Now, mind you, I don't know Eric, but to me, him and Virginia, it's a lot of stereotypes.
Ooh, yeah.
To me, it's a lot of stereotypes. I'm sorry, you say what you want. I just feel stereotypical conversation.
Oh my God.
That's coming out through their conversation. Whether they mean to or not, it's coming off as stereotypical conversation.
It really is. But this was the start. Chris was like, to tell me to man up, that was disrespectful. I felt disrespected. And that's when the fight started.
Nah.
That's what they say. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's when the fight started.
But Eric doesn't mean, and I want to say this, Eric doesn't mean any harm. What he's saying, he doesn't mean any harm. He doesn't mean any harm. He's not trying to be disrespectful.
It's just the way you saying it.
It's just the way that
choice of words.
The choice of words and what he's saying. He does
assumptions
that he's going out. So he's not trying to be intentional about being disrespectful towards Chris. I don't think Virginia's trying to be intentional disrespectful towards Chris. But it's the choice of words, tone, pitch, and voice, and how you use them.
And who it's coming from.
Yeah.
You don't know me. Okay. We hear Haley and Jacob. They, having a conversation later on. She's saying it's still surreal that she's gonna be stuck around somebody 24/7, but she is starting to like him.
Yeah.
There's a lot to process. He asked her how she feels about moving in together, and she says just getting adjusted to dealing with somebody else. She says, I'm not a clingy person all the time.
Yeah,
I'm he's having a hard time determining her intimacy level. It's like, do I try to kiss you? Do I try to hug you? Do I try to hold hands? Do you like PDA? I don't know. Whatever has happened, he says, I've pretty much been the initiator.
Yeah.
Asking for a kiss. I'm trying to think. I feel like at the aquarium, did he ask for the kiss?
No, she didn't.
She just gave it.
She just gave it.
Yeah, she just gave it. So maybe that was rare. But, he's like, I just don't know. I'm trying to feel you out. I don't know. Do you like it? Don't you like it? Should I? Shouldn't I?
Again, it goes back to the conversation piece. If she spent more time talking to him and then on the phone with her friends, they'll understand each other's love language. They'll understand what he likes and what she doesn't like. They'll have that conversation. Eventually, we see them later on have that conversation. But this is towards the end of the honeymoon when he's already frustrated. This is conversations you have on the airplane the night before when y'all first meet. All that type of stuff. This is the pre-conversation you're having so we can enjoy this honeymoon and not have these bumps in the roads.
Mm-hmm. She said she realized that expressing intimacy and letting someone, letting her guard down, that is something that she has to deal with, that she's trying to work on.
Yeah. She
knows that she's hard to read. He says you're hard to read. She realized that. She said, I know it's something I have to work on. And he wants her to open up more. He does say that
he has to take time. He can't be pushy.
That's one thing she says. You can't expect me to change myself completely in 5 days.
He's trying to be. He's too pushy.
But
I'm not saying pushy. He's forthright. Let me put it that way. Not pushy. He's forthright.
Yeah, but again, it's married at first sight. I understand you're not going to completely change her personality, but some things you're going off the top, you're going to have to do different because of the way this is set up.
Yeah.
You're going to have to. I think about Shawnice and Jeffy. They spent their whole marriage, him with this stranger danger.
Yeah.
Yes, we're strangers, but you knew that when you came into it. And the whole part of the process is getting to the point where we not feeling like we're strangers anymore. That means we need to talk. That means we need to relate. That means we need to give up some. That means we need to give in some. It's a give and take. Anyway, he said straight up they did have sex, and he said since then she hasn't opened up much more. It was disappointing. He was like, we got to the point where we had sex, but I haven't seen much more open since then.
Maybe it wasn't what she expected. Maybe it was too much too soon.
I feel like she was just drunk.
maybe she was just drunk. I mean, again, maybe she hasn't, I want to call it sexual remorse.
Right,
sexual remorse. Now, man, we don't have sex, but I'm really not feeling this dude. So she's drawing back because she's given herself to him, and now she's like, oh dang, what did I do when I was drinking? You know what I'm saying? So now she's having those issues.
Then we see Chris and Paige, and he says that he wants to really commend her on how she's been handling everything with such grace, and he lets her know it's not going unnoticed. I appreciate the woman that you are. he's starting to see why the experts matched her, even though nobody could have ever predicted that they would be in this situation. But you know, she's a you know, handle it with grace and poise.
I like this Chris. This Chris.
Mm-hmm.
This Chris is showing that he's noticeable. He understands. He's giving her some compliments. He's giving her credit. Some can say it's manipulation, but I think we'll see two different Chris's in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4. But he's battling again. He's always battling, trying to do what's right to who he is on the inside, and not letting you walk over him, dealing with the religious aspect of it, trying to be humble. He has a lot of issues that he's dealing with. In this setting, you can see he let down the walls and really let Paige into how he's feeling about her and giving her the respect and the admiration that she needs and the affection that she needs.
Mm-hmm. They have a whole conversation about her dog and whether her dog can sleep in the bed, and you know, if he'll help take the dog out. He was like, no, I don't want no dog sleeping in the bed.
Yeah.
That taking that dog out stuff, yeah, no, I don't think so. I ain't gonna have no problem with your dog. Just don't let your dog get to my shoes. You know how I feel about my shoes.
And here's a problem. And this is what my issue with Paige. She compared the dog to me getting ready to take care of your kid.
She did. She was like, how are you expecting me to be a stepmom and you can't be a dog dad? You know.
2 different things.
But for her, that's her child.
But understand that.
I know.
But to him, he may not be an animal person.
That's true.
And so I'm having to warm up to animals. She may not be a kid person, but again,
that's what I'm about to say.
So we have to work again, compromise on this issue, because now in this marriage here, they're throwing a lot of dynamics. You throwing an animal, you throwing some kids, you throwing a stepmother, you throwing a lot of things into this relationship real quick, real fast, and you want them to change. Let me get to know the dog. Let them like Greg. Greg and Deanna. Greg wasn't really a dog person.
Right.
Greg really, but he warmed up to Sandy.
Yes.
And Sandy warmed up to Greg, and now you can see Greg enjoying Sandy. So let me get to that point and allow me to warm up. Don't tell me what I'm going to do, what I should do. Let it be options where when I warm up and I realize, you know, this dog, he likes me. He doesn't bite my shoes. He doesn't mess with my clothes, and let me warm up to it. Just like she's going to have to warm up to this baby that's not hers.
Right.
You know, so it's one of those things. So
they deal with another thing that couples always have to deal with. So she says when she comes to the house, when they move in, that she's bringing some clothes and she's bringing gifts that she got from the wedding at the house. And so he says, you know, well, whatever money we get, we're going to have to split it 50-50. She was like, what? Split it 50-50? You know, how do you feel about joint accounts? Well, obviously we're going to have a joint account, you know, when it comes to paying the bills, you know. And he was like, she was like, and I understand that I make, you know, like half of what you make or a third of what you make. He was like, actually, it's a quarter.
It's a quarter.
Anyway, and she was like, you know, she don't have no problem with that. But Chris says, I don't believe in joint accounts.
He said,
you have yours. I have mine. I mean, I don't have no problem getting you whatever you want. I'll give it to you.
And she's like, I'm not marrying you for your money.
Right. She was like, that came off selfish to me. I don't want you for your money. I'm not trying to take your money. I don't but we're in this together. Let's be in this together.
That's what he's used to, though. So and it doesn't make it right. His conversation, people used to being with him for his money. She's not there because she's a baller herself.
Well, and don't lose your train of thought, but that's the other thing. He said, I'm used to girls that I'm having to take care of. Mm-hmm. So again, we're not expecting people to change overnight, but understand this is not that kind of thing. I'm not a take care of me type of girl.
Nah, I don't need.
So you gonna give me some money and take care of me? No. We're gonna put this thing together and we're gonna take care of each other. And we're gonna I don't need you to do that.
And we're gonna ball together. Now, Chris has businesses, right? Now, your business account should be solely separate from your personal accounts. Yes. All right. Now, you and your this is where us we talking about us. We join these. This come together. As I said in many videos, if the lights go out, guess what? The electric company's not looking for your half of the house. Mm-hmm. Guess what? The whole everybody loses electricity. Cable company ain't looking for your half of the channels that you watch. Guess what? Everybody's channels go off. They're not.
Well, not even that. Guess what? They're not gonna not turn your electricity off because they understand hubby pays the bill and you don't. Well, oh man, you know, he didn't pay the bill. I'm not going to shortchange you. Know the whole house going black.
Guess what? Your kid ain't allowed back to daycare because somebody didn't pay the bill. It's not because hubby didn't pay it, the wife didn't. Guess what? Somebody ain't pay the bill. So guess what? So it's one of those type things where when you get married, I believe when he says I do.
It's what we believe.
What we believe, that everything should come together. That everything.
And we don't have no.
Anyway,
we're not gonna get into all that.
The two shall be one. So they should come together. We organize. If I'm doing well by myself, and you're doing great by yourself, when we come together, we both should be doing well. Mm-hmm. And we figure out, okay, this is what a mortgage is.
You can have your own. You can have you a little play account. You can have him. He can have him a play account. Y'all can have y'all pocket money, but the two shall become one. That's how we feel.
That's how we feel.
That's how we do it.
But again,
you can do what you want to do.
Do what you want to do. But again, when you're dealing with somebody like Chris, to me, I think where it's already been an honesty and trust issue, when you allow money to be out there, there could be money spent on things that you don't know about. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now you have another issue.
Yeah.
So.
All right, next, Virginia and Eric, man, they are pissy drunk.
Drunk.
Pissy drunk. And he says again, this is not how I usually am. Basically, he's been trying to hang with her. He's been really trying to hang with her.
He's trying to do what she wants to do.
Yeah.
He's giving in to her. And he knows that when he goes back home, being an airline pilot, he can't do this. He can't party. Because she said, me and my friends, we party on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we drink all weekend. Mm-hmm. This is not what he does. He can't drink all weekend because he loves flying. He loves his job. And he's not going to be a drunk pilot.
No, he said, I can't. He was like, I'm just not set up like that. That could be a deal breaker with me. He says when it comes to partying, it's just some things that he doesn't do. That could be a deal breaker for him. Flying is his life, is his career, and he's not trying to ruin his life or his career. So that can't be something he does all the time. And she says she wants him to be included in her life, to be a part of what he does, and everything. But that's not how she lives. She does the partying. That's what she is. And they talk about needing having a mutual respect for how each one of them operates. And she understands that he's going to have. Well, she said he's going to have some give and take. That's the one thing we thought. She talked about how he has to give on how she lives her life, and she didn't acknowledge the fact that I might have to do some changing. Mm-hmm. I might have to do some changing. Honey, you can't live your whole life getting pissy drunk every day of the weekend.
No, you can't.
You can't, and especially when she says he's established in his career, saying encouraging her to be established in hers. You're not going to establish yourself in no career being a party girl every weekend. And
he can't afford to lose his job because he's drinking. No. Because that means he had to change a whole career.
No. He says, he does have an advantage. He's been married before. He knows that there's compromise and give and take that has to take place, and she doesn't. Her age is really showing. Her immaturity is really showing. And then she says, and he's noticed, she said, I'm stubborn. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to go well if he tries to change me. And he reinforces with her while they're talking. She says that to the side, but he reinforces that you're not single. You're with me. You're not single anymore. Yeah. You can't live like you're single.
You can't.
And I'm going to just say this, and then we're going to move. Stubbornness, very deep, severe stubbornness, has no place in a marriage. You cannot be a super stubborn person and be married, because there is going to have to be some give and take on both parts. One person can't be giving all the time. That's not going to work out.
And one person ain't always taking.
One person can't always be taking. You almost can't even be like you give most of the time, or you take most of the time.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have to figure it out, and I'm going to have to give up some things. You're going to have to give up some things. We're going to have to take. I'm going to have to take more than I've taken before.
Again, it goes back to communication and compromise. If we have a communication, we lay these plans out, and we make these plans, and we understand what's going on, and we understand each other's feelings and communicate with each other and see where we're coming from. There's nothing that you can't work out in a marriage. Mm-hmm. If the other parties really want the marriage.
Yeah. So, we see Brianna and Vincent. They're getting ready and everything, and his ring keeps falling off. I think we have one every season. Something with a ring.
But and then she's looking like
it's loose.
Then he drops the soap. And she's like, I don't want that soap. Give me a new one.
Which, yeah, she asked him for the soap. He goes to give her the soap and it drops. She's like, oh, that dropped on the floor. I don't want that soap. Get me a new one. So he gets her a new one. And she's like, well, don't forget to pick that soap up. She's like...
She's on him before he even gives him a chance.
She's like major pain.
She doesn't even give him a chance to do that. And I think, and sometimes in marriage, we're dealing with women who are boss women. Sometimes you deal with, give me opportunity to be who I am. I'm going to get it. And you want people to do it just quick, crack, fast, and hurry on your time. It doesn't work that way. If it's like 5 minutes later and the soap's still on the floor, yeah, man. By the way, can you pick that up? But give me an opportunity to do self-correct. Give me an opportunity to, the GPS. You give the GPS opportunity to self-correct. Let me have opportunity to self-correct. Oh, you can put this on your face tonight.
Oh yeah. How do you wash your face? Do you do this? You ought to do it like that. And I'm looking at I know that's what you do, Brianna. But I was looking at poor Vincent. I'm saying he's rubbing this stuff on his face. He's turning this red.
He just turned this red.
He's turning red. But he's like, oh okay. I need to exfoliate. I need to do the astringent. Oh okay.
She's trying to spend quality time with him, but at the same time, her quality time is forcing him to do things that he may not want to do. If I want to, if I want to exfoliate and I want to wash our faces together, allow me the opportunity to do so. Don't force me to do it. Yeah,
and he says that she needs to be more patient with him. Brianna asks, have I annoyed you yet? And truthfully, and be truthful. And so he, he clears his throat. And basically he's like, I like to take my time, and she rushes me. I don't like to be rushed.
Yeah.
I don't like being rushed into anything. I'm not changing that. And then she mentions, well, you annoyed me today. And we find out later when the cameras went off, they had a whole conversation. It wasn't the most flowers and rainbowy conversation when they go skydiving. So he's hoping the skydiving will lighten up the mood.
Which is good. I like the fact they have communications. You can't be here in this place in this 8 weeks and be mad for 6 days or be mad for 3 days. Have the conversation. And the cameras ain't gonna be there always. Look, you know what? There are times where you can have these private conversations, private moments, and guess what? Vince was like, you know what? I don't like the way that, came off today. He came off a little bit bossy. Look, I like to take my time. I like to be able to move at my own pace. Not that I'm not gonna do it, but give me time to be a man. Give me time to fix it. Give me time to solve the issue. That's what it's about. And men, if you're honest, some women don't give you that time, and you got to realize and understand, I need that time.
Yes. So like
vice versa, some men don't give that woman that time to get things. I need this done quick, fast, and hurry. Why you ain't make the bed yet? Why you ain't do this? Why you ain't? You know what? And guess what? I've learned in my marriage, just do it. If the soap fell, dog. If she dropped the soap, guess what? I'm gonna try to pick that bad boy up. So I don't even have to deal with that. Just.
Ooh, I don't even like what you
I don't want to say deal with it. I don't mean deal with it in that way, but you just go ahead.
Anyway.
And you've been married long enough. You know what? Go ahead and be helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up. I'm gonna wash your face. You know what? I'm gonna wash my face too. Let's spend that quality time together.
So they go to indoor skydiving. They go to indoor skydiving. And like I said, Vincent shared that when the cameras went off before they went to sleep, they had a conversation about her assertiveness. There was a respect issue. He felt upset, that he was being rushed. She was a little too assertive. I know they said you were bossy, but can you tone the bossiness down? But they go indoor skydiving. He's hoping it'll be a stress reliever, and it did help.
Yeah.
She said they had a lot of fun. It's good not to be adults all the time, but can act like kids and have fun. She says, Vince is really trying to impress me. He's doing this, like he had the dinner on the beach. They're going indoor skydiving. She's like, I like it that he's trying to impress me, because I've had guys that didn't care about trying to impress me, didn't care about trying to being a good light, trying to do anything special for me, make me feel special.
Yeah, and she got to realize, and he got to realize too, she's a boss chick, so she got to realize, she said it before, I need somebody to help me relax at home. And she's learning how to relax at home. That can rub her feet, that can take care of her back, to meet her needs at home. And she's learning that, because you got to be able to separate who you are at work for who you are at home.
Yeah. So. And so she says, to him, I'm trying to figure you out. What do you like? What do you not like? And she doesn't want to seem like she's bossing him around. So she was apologetic for that. I don't want to feel like I'm bossing you around.
She don't mess with his manhood. I mean, and man, you don't want your manhood bruised. You don't want that. And so she's trying to. There's a way to do it that he still keeps his masculinity about himself.
Yeah, and she said it did make her a little upset, the conversation and what he said, but she's glad they talked about it.
But they both said it though. Check me. I want you to check me, and we'll be better.
Yeah.
And I think this is why they're going to work, because they're able to check each other, let it go, and move on.
Yeah, and do it in a nice way.
Do it in a nice way.
You know, and she says, you know, I don't want you to hold it in. I want us to be able to talk, because then I don't want you to get to a point where, she says, I know how it is when you keep holding stuff, not you, but people. She wasn't saying it to Vincent, but she was saying when people hold stuff in and hold stuff in and hold stuff in, and when it comes out, it explodes.
It explodes.
And so she's like, I don't want you to blow up. I don't want you to hold stuff in. So yes, let's talk.
Let's have.
I appreciate it. Let's try to get on the same page. Yeah.
Then we go ATVing.
Yeah. Man, I think that's a whole nother episode.
Well, we're gonna do an episode on Chris and Paige this week, but we're gonna talk about the ATV experience. But we're gonna do a whole different episode on this whole Chris, Paige, Virginia, Eric.
So we're not gonna get into it too deep. It's gonna take too long.
Yeah.
So just look for something separate. It's gonna take too long. But yeah, we see Clara and Ryan, Virginia, Eric, and Chris and Paige. They go ATV riding.
Yeah.
They're having a good time, but the girls talk about how they're concerned about Paige. They want to make sure she's okay. She hasn't been herself. And so Clara starts the conversation, asks Chris, how's it going? And she's like, you're lucky you got the girl that you got, because all the rest of us wouldn't fool with you. It'd be over. Done. And he was like, yeah, I understand that.
And she said it respectfully.
She did.
This is how she again,
did.
Look at the tone of how things are said, and how Clara says stuff, how Virginia says things, and how Chris received. Because I'm already irritated with you anyway, because you already said, you sure the baby yours? So I'm already irritated with you. You already got some fake things, as he called it, some fake news that came back to me about how you and your husband has been running your mouth. Because I asked you guys, look, can you please
respect our privacy?
Respect our privacy.
She said they expressed concern that Chris and Paige are both shut down, but he said, you know, it's a privacy thing. I want you to respect my space or whatever. Yeah. And whatever his plan is between me and Paige. I see y'all trying to give support, but to me it's like fake support. It's not genuine at all. And they were Clara and Virginia were like, how did the two of them just end up right there with Chris? Is a question, but they were talking to him. It was just the three of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they were offended. He said it's fake support. You know, so I don't really care for it. And so Virginia said.
Well, he says fake support because again, you only talk about Paige's side. None of y'all supported me in this issue.
Well, not only that, but you don't know. Again, you don't know me. For real, you don't know Paige. You don't know her. You know her in this. Yeah. I would say. Y'all ain't not long timers like her other friends.
Yeah, you spent some hours together.
Right, you know, but
we spent some moments together. You've seen me.
Yeah, so anyway, so Virginia says if he was my husband, if you were my husband, I'd be upset because I don't really see you going above and beyond for what you putting her through. You should be doing extra. And he was like, how do you know what I'm doing? You don't know I'm doing extra. She was like, well, I know what Paige said. Paige?
It sounds like Paige is running her mouth to Virginia. Now, mind you, Virginia might be making it up. She might be getting
read more into it than
it is. Maybe because of Paige's body language and the way that she's coming off, that Virginia say, "Oh, you're not doing extra." Chris was right. You don't know what we do behind closed doors. You don't even know what kind of conversations we done had. You don't even know what's going on between us. Really, you don't even know if Paige really accepted the fact. You know that I have a baby on the way and it's my ex-fiance's, and you don't know. That's all you know. You only know what I told you.
And he says, I don't owe you an explanation. I don't owe you no explanation. I need you to stay out of my business. Mind your business. And he was like, it might be arrogant. And she was like, it is. It's arrogant. And he was like, okay, I'm arrogant. You a drunkard. You and your husband. Y'all's drunkards. Man, he went in. He's
like, yo, you're not going to cut me, but I'm going to cut you back. So guess what? If you want to keep talking smart, I'm going to talk smart. I tell this with our kids, and I tell this with other kids that I mentor. When you bring attitude, guess what? Attitude is going to come back. When you bring a certain type of swagger, guess what's gonna come back? That's gonna come back to you.
I'm gonna do like you used to say. Let me put word to it. Let me put Bible to it. A soft answer turns away wrath.
Yeah.
Then there's another scripture say, a fool invites a beating.
A fool invites a beating.
Anyway, and so Clara's watching this, and Clara has good sense, and she says, you know, Virginia, you're dealing with the angry man. Why would you be doing something that makes him angrier? In other words, why are you poking the bear? Stop instigating.
And
Stop.
This is where Chris is wrong. First of all, grown men, I don't argue with women.
No.
As a grown man, I'm not arguing with women.
No.
We're not having this conversation. This conversation is over.
That's why I said, how did it end up with him talking to the two of them?
Yeah.
Just them. Well, anyway, Eric walks up and Eric sees the whole thing going on, and bro just like I don't know. He was like, yeah, but then no. But what he does is Chris is riled up at this point, and he's like, hey, buddy. I mean, he didn't say buddy. He's like, Chris said, don't touch me. Like, for real, why did you touch me?
Dog, and
I'm sorry.
If you've ever been in any type of training, sensitivity training, if you work with counseling, if you work with being a teacher, they let you know when there's an argument going on, and when there's a problem going on, you don't touch any party.
Don't touch nobody.
You diffuse situations with your communication. Right? And so he didn't understand how to diffuse situations and communicate. I've already got somebody who's angry. I already got somebody who's upset. And I come and put my hands on him. I don't know where you're from. Again, it goes back. It becomes
Chris, that Chicago. Chris got that Chicago background.
Chicago comes in him. It becomes, now I feel threatened because you touched me.
Why you touching me?
Why you touching? Communication will diffuse a lot of situations. You don't have to put hands on folk to diffuse situations. He could have came up and said, you know what, Virginia, come on, baby. You know what? Let's go.
Or like you said, like the point you made, you was trying to make a few minutes ago. He really did. Eric came up and he should have been like, hey man, don't talk to my wife like that.
He should have said it right then and there.
Because
grown men, let's us men have a conversation.
Yes, he should have had a conversation. We said in that moment he did not step up for his wife.
He didn't step for his wife.
He did not step up for his wife. And then just to fast forward, you come later on in the day and now you got big cojones and you want to try to deal with him. No, guess what? I always heard I'm a get you where you show out at.
But they didn't show this. I guarantee the conversation went like this in the bedroom. Oh, you ain't stand up for me. You ain't saying how you let him talk to me like that. You didn't say nothing. So he realized, well, next time I see, don't worry about it, boo. Next time I see Chris, I'm going to say something to him.
It probably was some of that too. And then it might have also been, because I'm sure we all been like this too. We've been in a situation where we ourselves didn't do what we should have done. And he probably was back, you know, man, I should have said so-and-so. I should have said, man, I shouldn't have let him talk to her like that. Hindsight is 20/20, so you go back like, I didn't handle that right. You know, so it might have been her boosting him. It might have been him boosting himself up. But I just know all this self-talk y'all was doing in this room, it's not working for you. We're going to have to, but we get into that separate. But anyway.
Then you see the girls talking to Paige. Chris is going to get something to drink. They're talking to Paige.
Wait, let me know real quick though. Because before that, Virginia says, I don't know, you know, he just went off the rails. I was just trying to give him some advice. I'm trying to give him some advice. And Claire says, you know, I know she was just trying to help, but she was poking the bear. Again, he's already mad. He already told y'all, mind your business. And you interjecting. So, yeah, they go to talk to Paige.
And but you realize Claire was like, she was quiet. Claire went over there to walk with Ryan. She left. She's like, yo, okay, well, let's go here. Ryan, like, you know, he's subtle and calculate, come on. And so they go over there and they talk to Paige. And Paige is like, you know, girl, I don't know. He's just going off, this, that, and other. Ew, let it ride. Paige is basically like, yo, let it ride. Chris.
Respect our privacy. Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
And so while they're talking to Paige, Chris is like, oh, so you going to go over here and talk to don't talk to my wife.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's you been disrespectful.
You're being messy.
You've been disrespectful. And so this is the part that we was like, Chris, come on. Again, a soft answer turns away wrath. But I think he's just in too deep. Some people were like, when I'm there, I'm there. And so Chris is like,
oh, this van ride.
On this van ride, I'm about to make their life a living hell. You're not gonna get on here and think we're gonna be all
kumbaya.
Nope. Chris is there. she poked the bear, and the bear is up, and he's raging. And that's some immaturity on his part.
Very immature.
He gave them the blues. The blues on that bus.
Very immature. Paige is in the back seat. He's in the seat in front of her. He just goes off. And I thought Brandon went off, but Chris went off.
It was a different kind of
It just kind of off. So,
like, Brandon's was, like, unwarranted.
Yeah.
But, like, Chris, and I'm not, again, the level to which he went is not warranted, but he did have a right to be upset.
But he should have brought himself down. There's got to be enough man in you
to bring yourself
to reel yourself in. To realize, you know what, I'm going off on women.
And he didn't have...
I'm going off on women. Mm-hmm. So I need to, as a man...
myself.
I can't go off on these women in here.
He couldn't. And, he, like I said, he let them have it on that bus. And he's just fussing. He's just going back and forth. And we see Paige trying to calm him down. She's apologetic. Oh, sorry about Chris acting like that. Calm down. Just leave it alone. She's telling them leave it alone, but him too. Leave it alone.
But this is where I have a problem with Paige. Don't apologize for no man. Your husband. That is his actions. It reflects you, but he's need to apologize for himself because guess what? He's the one that's doing this. Mm-hmm. You don't apologize for him because he's the one that's showing his butt. Mm-hmm. He's showing his tail. And he's not able to bring him in. You 4 days into this marriage, you can't reel this man in. You ain't never seen this dude this way.
I'm sorry he's acting like this. Oh, y'all, please excuse me. I'm so sorry he's acting like... No.
You don't even know his triggers. You don't even know how to reel him in. So guess what? Don't do that. And we see eventually later, and I'm going to jump to the dinner, because I want to get there, because Chris realized when he gets back to the room and calmed down that his action, he called the person that can calm him, because Paige can't do it. This is where
they're not at that point.
They're not at that point. He calls his grandmother. Right? Because he knows when I get here, grandma or great-grandma are the ones that are able to bring me back in. I'm at a point, he knows his support system.
But this what I like about it. Again, when you have some sort of foundation, this says to me that Chris has some sort of foundation, and he knows how to deal when he's at this point.
Yes. Because,
like he said, I called my grandma, and that's basically, since Paige did, basically, I gave the devil place. Mm-hmm. I let that other side of me come out, grandma, and I need some help reeling back in. But at least he realized he's not the type of person that is like, that's just the way it is. That's just how I am. Yeah. That's how it's going to be. He realized, dog, I was wrong. He's got some regret, some remorse about his behavior. And he knows that I didn't reflect. He says at the table, I didn't reflect myself as a man of God. I call myself this man of God. And honestly, guess what? Whether you believe whatever you believe in, religion or whatever, or if you're just a good person, you have to be the type of person. Everybody doesn't have that where they can realize I wasn't reflecting the best person I can be.
He had self-examination. He understood how to self-check and self-examine. And he understood that, you know what, it's who I am, and I shouldn't have portrayed that. It's like that Bruce Banner in Incredible Hulk. I shouldn't have let the Hulk out.
Yes.
Me letting the Hulk out was totally wrong. I should have had Bruce Banner the whole time. I shouldn't have. But you poked me enough, and I turned green. And it's going to take me it takes me a minute to get back to Bruce Banner.
But that's a good, I don't want to get into that too much, but that's a good thing. Bruce Banner and the Hulk is always there.
Always there.
The Hulk is always there. You have to keep the Hulk in check. Mm-hmm. There are some people that live every day as the Hulk. They're not trying to check the Hulk. They're checking Bruce Banner. Mm-hmm. When they should be checking the Hulk. Instead, they let the Hulk run wild. So to me, it says something about a person. And not everybody hating on Chris. He's not my favorite person. But it says something to me when you have enough sensibility about yourself to recognize I acted like an animal, and I shouldn't act like an animal.
Yeah.
Because that's not how I was raised.
I disrespected my wife. I disrespected my family. I disrespected myself. And guess what? I'm going to apologize to all y'all. And he goes into how, he said, Paige ended up praying for him.
Because grandma said, baby, you're married now. That's not my role no more. Go to your wife and have her do it. And again, Paige had enough She got enough. And I know y'all pick and laugh and joke about that when it comes to Paige too. But Paige is a woman of God. First of all, to put up with, because she's in there. It caused a little bit of stupidity. I do feel on some things. But at the same time, in situations like that, she said she read the scriptures over him and prayed for him and
calmed him down.
She played the harp for Saul.
And the spirit left for him.
And the spirit left.
But you can see that it was a different Chris at the dinner.
Yes.
When all of them was there, Virginia and Eric's not there. He apologized to Clara. He apologized to Ryan. Mm-hmm. He apologized to people that wasn't even there because Brianna and Vincent wasn't there. Mm-hmm. He apologized to Haley and Jacob. They wasn't even there. So he's going to do this. He went through the whole process and he's sharing who he is and he apologized and this is not me. Respect pride. Now you have Virginia and Eric.
Well, first of all, I want to say this. So Jacob is listening and he was like, I mean, I don't know if he's genuine or not. I don't know how to take it. You know,
yeah.
I mean, it don't affect me. It just is what it is.
I respect Jacob because they don't have a relationship. Mm-hmm. So he understands me and Chris don't have a relationship. So guess what? All I can do is take the man for his word. Mm-hmm. I don't know him like that.
But Paige prefaced Chris's apology too. I want to say this is that she said she let them know we appreciate your supportiveness. You got admirable qualities, thank you for being there for me, and I just want reconciliation. Yeah. I just want us to be reconciled, whatever. And Chris did, he publicly apologized to them and to Paige. He acknowledged in front of them how gracious she's been and the woman of God that she is, and then, like you said, Virginia and Eric some people debate whether it was purposely late because of production, did they make them come late? Or I feel like it was just typical late Virginia and Eric.
Yeah.
But they show up late and Eric comes in, guns a blazing. You don't know what happened before you got there. How about sit down and figure out what happened? Because people have been sitting at this table before you got there. But he comes out, guns ablazing. But
Ryan sees that. And this is why I like this cast right here. I like that they woke a little bit. They got a little bit of woke in them. Mm-hmm. Ryan comes and try to, look, this is what's going on before you got here.
But what Eric already had tried to unleash the beast before. He was like, Eric said, I got something to say. I'm setting boundaries. You'll never talk to my wife again. That was unacceptable. You don't talk to my wife. And that's when Ryan's like, hey. Chris already came and he apologized. Ryan tried to explain what has happened before he get there. And like Eric's not trying to hear it. And so you keep talking. And so Chris was like, word?
Let's go ahead and talk then.
I just suppressed the Hulk. You starting to turn me green.
I'm about to turn green again. And he said, yo, you want to go there? Let's go there. You know what I'm saying? I can go there with you. But he's trying to, he said, please.
Ryan says, don't build it up. Don't build it up again. Ryan says, don't do it.
He raises his voice. You can hear Chris, the octaves are getting higher. And Chris is like, yo, bump it. You know what? Let's go there.
And he's like, what you trying to do, bruh? What you trying to do? And so he gets up out his chair. Now, Chris, you was wrong. Stay in your daggone chair.
Dead wrong.
Stay in your chair. Because, he feel like you coming at him now. But what Chris received was, oh, you want beef.
Yeah.
You want beef.
And this is how
I got the grill.
And this is how we handle beef in Chicago.
I got the grill. Eric came like he wanted all the smoke. And Chris said, if you want the smoke,
I'm going to give you the smoke.
I'm going to give you the smoke.
And then we got Vincent who walks Chris off.
Like pushing Chris off. Vince is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And actually, Chris got amped when when Eric wouldn't let him talk. And then Eric's like, man, fine, I'm leaving. We ain't gotta stay here. We leaving. And Chris is like, what you want to do, homie? What's good? What's good? And Vincent did have to pull him off. Now Chris wasn't gonna try to fight him. He was not gonna try to fight him, but he was just like, what is it that you want
from me?
You don't really want, because the fact of the matter is, Eric's response showed you don't want the smoke.
And he said, and Eric says it later, I'm not a confrontational person. This is not what I do.
Well, that's what you came, that's what you brought to the table.
And so they had the conversation. Vincent walks off. He has a conversation with Eric. He has a conversation with Chris. We see our man Montre Montre comes back
shows
in.
up, producer Montre.
Montre shows up again. They have conversation with producers. Chris calms down.
Yeah, but Chris is like, you see what he did. You know, you come in late. You starting stuff. Eric and Virginia over there telling me, oh, it was borderline scary. You see how he tried to come at me. I questioned if he was going to snap. He was out of line, and he didn't want Chris to finish. You know, he's leaving. Ryan's like, we should have been able to handle this in a reasonable manner. You know,
even Clara was like, you know what, she was actually on Chris's side. Like, he's trying to be apologetic. Everybody saw where Chris was coming from, but again, their lateness. Go back to the other time. Their lateness caused more friction than it did.
Cause you're in there and you're in that room getting drunk and hyping each other up.
Yeah.
Getting all pumped up. He come out, feel like he got his pants up. He done pulled his pants up. And, you know, I'm about to come out here. And so, you know, Vincent even said that Eric came to the table. He brought it to the table.
Yeah, you can feel the energy.
You could feel the energy.
Yeah.
You know, Brianna says if Virginia and Eric were there earlier and had heard the apology, it wouldn't have went like this. No. If you had just taken a minute. And so Brianna was like, but once they went there, Chris was ready to air this B out.
He was ready to air it out.
VICTH in that order.
Yeah.
In the words of Mama D. He was going to air that joint out. And was. But
this, when we go deeper later in another video, but this right here takes so many different dynamics of how people are and how things get blown out of proportion. But we see here the dynamics of the couples too, because we see Haley and Jacob like, wait, we ain't got nothing to do with this. They're like, we're going to go over here. We see Brianna and Vincent who are talking to Paige and who's talking to Chris respectfully and trying to get them together. We see Eric and Virginia who's all to themselves trying to process this information.
And processing it wrong. Bro, yeah. Chris, again, different foundation. Chris acknowledged that I was in a space I shouldn't have been. He took responsibility. Eric is steady sitting there blaming Chris. Did you see the way he acted? He acted like, basically, what I heard was, he acted like an animal. Mm-hmm. That was uncalled for. Let's forget the fact that, just like your wife, you poked the bear. You poked the bear. You can't be surprised when the bear attacks. You poke the bear. Anyway, so we're going to do a whole nother thing about it because it's a whole lot to that. But anyway, so we just see Chris and Paige talking later. They're regrouping in the room. No, let me leave that for last. Haley and Jacob talking. And again, they talk about the fact that she's kind of off. Yeah. She feel like something's missing. Something's not clicking. She didn't explain herself. He said, you got your guard up. You got to let me in. We got to figure this out. She says something's missing. She's pulled herself away. Again, she talks about the fact that... he was like, what's missing is you. Yeah, he said, what's missing in my circle is you. And, you know, she says, you can't expect me to completely change myself in 5 days. Right. The next day, we see Virginia and Eric. She said she went to sleep because she had to go to sleep. She had to keep her body from shaking. They were so upset. You know what I want to say. Yeah. They were so scared. I'm going to say it about the angry black man. Yeah. The angry black man scared her so bad she was shaking. Mm-hmm. But they're ready to get to back to normal life, regular life, and they could take or leave having to deal. I understand. Eric's like, I understand you're going to still deal with Paige. I'm not fooling with them. I'm not fooling with Chris. Understandable. I ain't got to deal with you. Understandable. That's cool. And I respect especially Eric if you don't know how to keep your daggone mouth closed.
But I'm not even blaming Eric for that. I understand that. Look, we have beef. We have an issue. Guess what? I don't have to deal with you outside of production. We don't have to deal with each other. So guess what? Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it basic. And I'm not mad at Eric for being a man about that. I like Eric. But let's keep it basic. You understand this is our family. And he said it. Let's work on us. After this, we don't have to worry about this. Let's work on us. I have no problem with Eric saying, you know what? Let's work on us because we have our own issues. And they need to work on those issues and let Chris and Paige work on their issues. Let us work on our issues. And you know what? We'll be cordial. We might be living in the same apartment complex. I mean, we got to see each other. We're going to work on us. And I have no problem with Eric and Virginia making that decision. Yeah, Virginia says she ain't trying to mend no fences with Chris. But she still, she still wants to be there for Paige. But anyway,
Oh, Eric said, I tried, but, you know, Chris wasn't. He just kept coming at me. You didn't try. You really didn't. But anyway, Brianna and Vincent said they're ready to go back to normal. And then the bombshell, 2 bombshells for the night. We see Haley and Jacob. Jacob says that Haley came to him and she says, I'm going to hang out with the girls, want to have a girls' night. And he's like, hey, go ahead, have fun. Enjoy yourself, have a girls' night. He happens to come downstairs. He comes around the corner and it's not a girls' night. It's all the couples and Haley. Know him. And he's like, she lied to me. She didn't want me to come and hang out. And he says that when he came around the corner, everybody kind of bolted. I don't know how true that is. I don't think the other couples would be like that. I just don't. But, I don't know. He says it's been awkward since then. They're getting ready to leave the honeymoon. It's been awkward. They're not really talking to each other. She was wrong. She's wrong.
She's dead wrong. She's dead wrong. And I can't blame her. She's wrong.
Yeah. She's wrong to do that. But anyway, and so then we just see Brianna and Vincent talk about how they're ready to go back to normal, ready to get into the groove of life. But the other bombshell is the conversation that Chris and Paige have. You know, what's it going to be like? Well, first of all, he tells her, you know, what you're getting ready to wear. You need to wear something that's going to show off your tail. And, you know, he's making lighthearted conversation. But her thing is, you know, I've been struggling with where you are mentally and emotionally. I haven't been prompting the conversation. I've been waiting for you to say it. What's going on in your head? And the conversation that ensues, you know, she's like, why didn't you tell me that before? And he said, because you didn't ask. I had an issue with the fact that, Chris, you should be volunteering this information. It's your situation. I shouldn't have to pull teeth. You should be talking to me about it. And her question is, what are you doing? What are you trying to figure out? What is it that you want to do? How do you see that relationship going? He says, you know, I've talked to her about co-parenting. We did talk about, you know, figuring out, you know, he says last week we were both blocked. We both blocked each other. And now we have to deal with each other because she says she's pregnant. Yeah. You know, the baby, you know, it's gonna be different. He's concerned about the baby being in 2 different homes. The thought has crossed his mind about being with her. You know, they talked about that, about maybe it'd be best to get back together. He doesn't know how he feels about another man raising his child. And understandably, these questions are legitimate questions that should run through his mind. Legitimate questions. These are things that run through his mind. He's not sugarcoating that. One thing we found out, Chris hasn't been a liar. He's telling you, for the most part, he's telling you what he feels. And he's going to be honest with you. And he gave, you know, this is running through his mind. And she's like, what do you mean? You still going to try to be with her? Well, you having conversations. She expressed frustration with him having a conversation with another woman. He has to talk to the woman. Yeah. But again, I understand. Then you should be coming to me and telling me about this because you threw me in the middle of the situation. So now that we're here, you should be open and honest and tell me about what's going on. But my problem that I have with Paige, again, y'all are 5-6 days in. And yes, it's a legally binding marriage. But this marriage is a little bit different. Yeah. It's different. And I wouldn't expect the same conversations to be had from somebody that we got married, we dated beforehand, we was engaged, and then we got married, and then a baby thing pops up. You don't have that tenure as a wife to expect some of the things you're expecting from him.
She doesn't, but
to put her completely first, and for the thought not to cross your mind that I might want to be with the lady that's carrying my baby.
Right, but he gives her comfort later on and says, you know, I'm gonna try to keep it with you.
I'm trying to work through my stuff.
I'm trying to work through my stuff. We try to work with you. Let's try to do this together.
And I was spiritually attracted. The way you prayed over me, I am more attracted to you. I'm spiritually attracted to you. You know, basically, I appreciate, almost like Brianna and Vincent, you had my back, you was there for me. Yeah. And that's drawing me to you more. And so, I'm in this. But, truth be told, those thoughts did cross my mind. That is something that I have to take into consideration.
And the things I've got to do.
And I'm not mad at them.
And the things we got to do when we get back to Atlanta.
Yeah. So.
It was a lot to unpack.
Still got some more.
Still got some more to unpack. So look out for the next video on Chris and Eric in Virginia that we're gonna unpack and we're gonna give to you guys. Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Don't miss any of our reviews. We just got a lot to go. There's a lot to do. This season has really been impactful. And this season, we have a lot more to go with this season of Married at First Sight. Some people don't like it. I like it because it gives a lot to talk about and discuss socially, economically, relationship, everything.
Yeah. But thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.